Can the 37-year-old Brian Kendrick do the impossible and defeat KOTA IBUSHI tonight on the Cruiserweight Classic? Let's talk about it, man. You know, when this tournament is over, a lot of people are going to have a very, very difficult time coping with the fact that there is no more Cruiserweight Classic. Me included. I'm going to be one of those people that's going to find it very difficult to adjust when there's no CWC on Wednesdays after NXT. What am I going to fill my Wednesday nights with? I don't know. That's why we need to enjoy literally everything that we're seeing right now. Now, that's the great thing about the WWE Network. We can go back and watch this masterpiece all over again, and that's exactly what this tournament is. It is a fucking masterpiece. A lot of people also, just as excited, don't like the Cruiserweight Classic. There's some detractors out there that just don't like the Cruiserweight Classic for whatever reason. It's not their cup of tea. They might be a casual viewer. They might not understand it. Then you got the internet trolls, the fucking smart marks on the internet. Oh, these guys are nothing but vanilla midgets. These guys have no talent. These guys are small. They lack character. This entire tournament is lacking story. There's nothing that's going to draw me in to watch this tournament and care about what these guys are doing in this ring on Wednesday nights. I don't have to sit here and tell you guys why that is complete bullshit, but I'm going to anyway because I like proving people wrong. And if you guys watch the Cruiserweight Classic tonight, it is one of those nights that I cannot describe to you in a review. I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm going to try. I'm going to try and put my own spin on it, but ultimately you are going to have to watch this show from beginning to end. And you guys took my word for it when Cedric Alexander and KOTA Ibushi gave you probably the best match of 2016 in all of WWE, probably all of wrestling. Some of you might disagree with me, but I don't watch anything outside of WWE production, so you'd have to excuse me. But definitely inside all of WWE, they probably gave you the match of 2016. If there was another match that could probably rival that or at least come close, it would be what happened on tonight's show, again with KOTA Ibushi, this time with Brian Kendrick as his dancing partner. For those people who say that Brian Kendrick and KOTA Ibushi and everybody in this tournament are vanilla midgets and they offer nothing to the viewer at home and there's no storytelling, I tell you this, and I mean this with all sincerity. I'm having a rough week. I'm having a rough week for personal reasons, okay? And I'm home, and I get home from work, and I watch these two guys in the ring, and I'm watching the final segments of this match. And I don't want to get all choked up because I'm just, stress is fucking killing me. I watch this match, and I see KOTA Ibushi, and I see Brian Kendrick, and the closing segments before that 1, 2, 3 from the referee's hand hits the mat. And the bell rings, and KOTA Ibushi is announced the winner of this quarterfinal match. He goes on to the Final Four in the CWC. Before this match even took place, Brian Kendrick said that this is all that he has right now. This tournament is his life. This may be his last chance at 37 years old. You knew going into this that was going to be a defining situation in this tournament match. This was going to be what they built around. When you seen Brian Kendrick get up after that referee made the 1, 2, 3 and he was declared the loser, and KOTA Ibushi was declared the winner and advancing in this tournament, all you needed to see was Brian Kendrick's tears rolling down his cheeks. That's the story, people. That is the story. And you and I, as wrestling fans, you and I, as fans of what the WWE has done with this production, I'm going to be fucking brutally honest with you. I actually cried. I shed tears looking at Brian Kendrick. I shed tears looking at what Brian Kendrick did and the heart that he put in that match, I shed tears because I knew how important that was to Brian Kendrick. And that translated to me, and I'm hoping everybody else at home. The tears that we shed when we watch this kind of thing at home means that we love what we're seeing, we love professional wrestling, and that what these guys do in and out of that ring, and the story that is told, and the passion, and the sweat, and the blood that is shed in that ring for us to entertain us, translates right through the fucking television. We feel the passion. Tonight, even more so than the Cedric Alexander match, and that was fucking absolutely mind-blowing with KOTA Ibushi. Tonight was that, but on a more emotional level. They gave you the fucking 5-star classic with Cedric Alexander. Tonight, they gave you a fucking 5-star classic, but with an emotional twist. And if you're not watching the Cruiserweight Classic tonight, I urge you, just like I stated when I reviewed the Cedric Alexander KOTA Ibushi match. You guys, I would never disappoint you. I would never lie to you. I would never steer you wrong. If you missed it for whatever reason, if you're working late, if you just missed it completely, you didn't have time to watch it, I urge you to go back and watch it. Whatever I tell you here is not going to do the match justice. This match was absolutely fucking fantastic. And it was all because of the story that was told in that ring tonight. For the fucking clowns and the goons out there that want to tell me that there's no story, Brian Kendrick's tears were the fucking story tonight. That's all you need to know. That's it. KOTA Ibushi is unbelievable. And I want to slap myself upside down, left and right, for not fucking watching this guy before he actually made his presence felt in the Cruiserweight Classic. This guy is easily becoming my fucking favorite wrestler right now. Anywhere. The guy's unbelievable. The guy is literally unfucking believable. I never seen kicks before in my entire life that just resonated off a fucking guy's boot, connecting another guy's fucking flesh than KOTA Ibushi. The athleticism, everything this guy does is like fucking picture perfect. It's like a fucking feature film. This guy does one fucking take and it's absolutely breathtaking, perfect. KOTA Ibushi is easily becoming my favorite wrestler anywhere, just because of what he does in that ring. Simple. Tonight, the story that was told was the tears that fell from the eyes of Brian Kendrick. But before all that happened, Brian Kendrick, and I stated this on Twitter, the most opportunistic wrestler I've ever seen. The most scrappiest wrestler I've ever seen. He uses his environment so well that you got to give him props, man. You got to give him props. There was one instance in this match where they were both on the outside. Each man on the opposite sides of a fucking turnbuckle. Brian Kendrick had KOTA Ibushi in a neckbreaker position. He hangs him in a neckbreaker on the fucking beam that's behind the turnbuckle. And Mauro Ranallo was telling a story about KOTA Ibushi having neck surgery. And Daniel Bryan was talking about how KOTA Ibushi's neck is not in the best of shape following surgery. And that it's a sensitive subject. It's a sensitive area, a sensitive topic. They built around that to progress the story in this match. And literally everything that Brian Kendrick did was scrappy. And he realized that none of his tactics were working. And he really had to dig down deep and fucking get physical with KOTA Ibushi. And KOTA Ibushi took everything Brian Kendrick had. Kick out after kick out after kick out. There was even a fucking instance in this match where Brian Kendrick delivered a fucking burning hammer. I don't remember the last time I seen that in modern day WWE. Just picture a fucking fireman's carry position. Guy is fucking, instead of being, in a John Cena-like AA position, imagine the guy being reversed. And you drop him right on his fucking head. KOTA Ibushi's head hit the mat, and I thought this guy was fucking knocked out, done for. The match could have ended right there. KOTA Ibushi and the camera panned over his eyes so perfectly they were glazed over. He didn't know where the fuck he was, and he kicked out at a fucking 2.5. Everybody went crazy. Everybody went crazy. Another highlight of the match is KOTA IBUSHI standing on the middle rope with nothing but Brian Kendrick's weight holding him down. Kendrick was on the outside of the ring. KOTA IBUSHI German suplexes him over the top from the outside in with a German suplex. Unfucking believable. On top of that, the kicks that Brian Kendrick suffered through tonight from KOTA IBUSHI. There was a spot off the top rope. I don't recall what he did. I believe it was a Phoenix Splash. He attempted off the top rope, KOTA IBUSHI, that Brian Kendrick immediately seen a spot to just try and weasel himself into a victory. KOTA IBUSHI missed the Phoenix Splash. Face first, hits the mat. Brian Kendrick goes for the bully choke, and it was to no avail. It was to no avail. At the end of that, all he did was end up eating a 5-star golden power bomb. Golden power bomb, 5-star. It is a fucking 5-star power bomb. It's the best fucking power bomb that I've ever seen. Unfucking believable. KOTA IBUSHI wins the match. 1, 2, 3. At the end of it all, Brian Kendrick crying in the middle of the ring. Crowd is chanting, "Thank you, Brian." Daniel Bryan, you heard on the microphone. You couldn't see him, but you heard him. He was actually legit crying because his friend, his confidant, Brian Kendrick, lost in such a hard-fought, valiant effort in which he just gave his heart and soul. Brian Kendrick crying in the ring. Daniel Bryan makes his way from the announce desk into the ring. Standing ovation for both as they embrace and hug in the middle of the ring. I start feeling the fucking tears flow down my face just watching that as the CWC goes off the air tonight. Unfucking believable. The story that was told tonight was the emotion that Brian Kendrick put in this match, proclaiming that this could be his final match. This could be it. If he doesn't win this tournament, this could be the last chance that he has. He lost. The tears flowed. I'm sure everybody got emotional at home. If you're a fan of this and love what these guys have been doing, and if you've been invested in the CWC, you felt the same way watching these guys at the end of this match, man. Fucking unbelievable. I urge you guys to go watch this. You know, I said it about Cedric Alexander and KOTA IBUSHI. I'm going to say this again. Nothing that I say here is going to do the match justice. I can only give you the highlights of what happened. That's it. I can only give you the highlights. You guys got to go watch it for yourself. But Brian Kendrick, man, he did literally everything possible to try and get one over on KOTA IBUSHI because he knew he wasn't going to match the power of KOTA IBUSHI's offensive skill, man. There was even one point in this match where Brian Kendrick tried to legit steal a count-out victory. He tried to, like, wrap KOTA IBUSHI's leg in between those old-school grates, those old-school barricades. He wrapped his leg inside the fucking barricade, and he slid into the ring as the referee started to count, and KOTA IBUSHI luckily got himself out. You know, in that type of situation, in that type of spot, you know, with, I can imagine that being very stressful. He got himself out fairly quickly, but that was a wily veteran maneuver by Brian Kendrick, man. That's the type of stuff that Brian Kendrick was doing, including that neck breaker over the bar of the turnbuckle. He did literally everything that he could to win this match, and then he ultimately fell to a Golden Star Powerbomb. An unfucking believable match tonight in the CWC. The other match that we seen tonight was Akira Tozawa versus Gran Metalik. Now, I had stated on Twitter that I was going with Gran Metalik over Akira Tozawa. That doesn't mean I don't appreciate the skills of Akira Tozawa. That doesn't mean I don't appreciate what has brought him this far in this tournament. I stated that I thought Gran Metalik was going to win because I believe he is a little bit more marketable to the WWE than Akira Tozawa. And that's not taking anything away from Akira Tozawa at all. The guy is fucking unbelievable. He's physical. He's got a great look. He's got a great size. The guy is a fucking offensive machine, man. A flurry of offensive maneuvers that just gets the crowd fucking pumped, man. And he is himself fucking energetic. And he all this energy coming out of him when the situation calls for it, man. He is amazing. And if he's not signed to Monday Night Raw for this Cruiserweight division, that in itself is a crime. A fucking crime. This match was very even. Akira Tozawa and Gran Metalik, very, very even. And in the end of this, Gran Metalik actually ended up winning. There was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful spot towards the end of this match in which Gran Metalik tried to clothesline Akira Tozawa, and he went for the German suplex, snap suplex. Man, it came literally out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. And Gran Metalik actually kicked out of the German suplex. And then he tried it again. Akira Tozawa was going for another German suplex, but this time he was going to power him up from a deadlift position, picking him up off the mat, and he was going to do it again. Not as quick. He was going to do a little bit more vicious German suplex with a pinning combination. It didn't work out that way. Gran Metalik weaseled himself out of it. He got him in the Metalik driver, which is a Michinoku driver. 1, 2, 3. Gran Metalik ended up winning this match, and he advances to the Final Four. The reason I wanted Gran Metalik to win is because I like his style more than I do Akira Tozawa. Akira Tozawa is fucking great. The reason I thought Gran Metalik was going to win was because I think Gran Metalik is a little bit more marketable. You know, he's got that vibe. He's got that presence that WWE could market in foreign countries, you know. And I just think that's the way they're going to go. And it doesn't hurt that he is a recommendation from Finn Balor himself. So, obviously, he has definitely lived up to the recommendation of Finn Balor. He's been absolutely fantastic in this tournament. He's more my style. The high flying, he could do the mat base. He's got swift moves. He's quick in and out of the ring. He's just my style, man. I like what he's got. I love his theme music, too. But Akira Tozawa, you know, the energy that he brings to the table in this CWC was not enough, and hopefully it's enough to land him on Monday Night Raw. All four of these guys, honestly, I think deserve to be on Monday Night Raw, if not already signed to a WWE contract. So at the end of tonight, we got Gran Metalik and we got KOTA IBUSHI advancing to the Final Four. Now, my thoughts on what happened tonight in closing. I think KOTA IBUSHI, you know, and this whole thing about him not being signed. I honestly think KOTA IBUSHI is signed. Because I look at it this way. If KOTA IBUSHI announces that he signed with WWE, everybody's going to automatically assume that he's going to win this tournament. So I believe that they're just playing everybody and trolling everybody, saying, you know what, I'm not going to sign yet. There's unfinished business that I have to do in New Japan. Because, like I said, if KOTA IBUSHI comes out in round 1 and says that he signed with WWE, right? And he's signing to be part of their Cruiserweight division. Everybody's going to associate KOTA IBUSHI signing with him winning the tournament. They don't want that. They don't want any predictability in this tournament whatsoever. They want this tournament to be as unpredictable as possible. So that's why I think, even though KOTA IBUSHI has stated he's not signed with WWE, that he's open to working with them, that he's open to doing several appearances here and there, I think KOTA IBUSHI is going to win the whole thing. I don't see KOTA IBUSHI not winning this tournament. This is the inaugural, first ever Cruiserweight Classic. Yeah, you got Rich Swann. Yeah, you got T.J. Perkins, who, you know, if I didn't have KOTA IBUSHI in this tournament, he'd be my pick. T.J. Perkins could ultimately win this match. I just don't win this tournament. I just don't see KOTA IBUSHI losing at all. I just don't. He's got the star power. He's got the name recognition that's going to pretty much bring everybody that's outside of WWE into watching the final. KOTA IBUSHI is going to be in the final. I don't see him losing in the final at all. I don't. Just keep that in mind. And let me know what you guys think. I think KOTA IBUSHI is signed. Because if they came out and proclaimed that, yeah, we signed KOTA IBUSHI from New Japan Pro Wrestling, and he's going to be in the CWC, everybody's going to associate him with winning this tournament. Can't happen. They want this to be as unpredictable as possible. I just don't see him losing. After what he gave us already with 3 rounds and then going into the fucking Final Four and then a finals, 5 times he's going to be fighting to win this thing. I don't see him losing. I just don't. I think out of everybody in this tournament, the one that's going to bring the most name recognition and solidify this thing as legit, not taking anything away from anybody else, because T.J. Perkins, Rich Swann, Gran Metalik, they could all legit win this fucking tournament. Not taking anything away from those guys, but if you want the best of the best, one of the best wrestlers in the fucking world on the planet, you're going to give it to KOTA IBUSHI. You know? That's it. That's just my logic on that. That's my thought on that. Let me know what you guys think about that. And no, I don't think Zack Sabre Jr. is going to win it. He proclaimed that he's not signing with WWE. So I don't think WWE is going to give it to someone who is not signed. You know? Perkins is already on the promo for Monday Night Raw. Rich Swann and Cedric Alexander already on the promo for Monday Night Raw. So, who's next? You know, who's next? I honestly think KOTA Ibushi is going to win this tournament. That's just my honest opinion on that. I don't see him losing. After what he's given us so far, I just don't. NXT tonight, guys, very, very underwhelming. Just like SmackDown was. And I'm going to go over this very quickly, literally. And it's unfortunate that I'm saying this. Nothing happened outside of one instance. Nothing happened outside of one situation on NXT that was really, really eye-opening. The whole thing was, was built around Shinsuke Nakamura making his first appearance on NXT since winning the title from Samoa Joe at Brooklyn, or in Brooklyn, at TakeOver. Opening match, Ty Dillinger versus Buddy Murphy. I like that Ty Dillinger is on a nice roll, man. Momentum. Ty Dillinger has everything that it takes, everything that's necessary to be a major player in NXT. I could certainly see him challenging for the NXT Championship given his popularity. And I'm glad that he's back. Corey Graves and Tom Phillips said that, listen, he took a couple of weeks off, he's refreshed, he's revitalized, and it looks it. You know? People love this guy. People legit make him, honestly, a bigger superstar than he really is. And that's okay by me, man, because I love the gimmick, I love the theme, I love the personality, I love the shtick. Ty Dillinger is a fucking beast. Tonight, with the tiebreaker, he beat Buddy Murphy, and that match ended at 9 minutes and 46 seconds. Ty Dillinger is on a nice streak. Hopefully they can continue that, and I hope to see him on NXT television more and more and more, because he certainly deserves the television time, and people legit want to see him succeed. You can't go wrong with that, man, at all. They look back at the tag team title match from Brooklyn, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. And I did not do a review of the Cruiserweight Classic last week. The one thing that I was very confused about, man, it was very bizarre, if you guys watched. TJ Perkins and Johnny Gargano were wrestling. And TJ Perkins made Johnny Gargano tap. Now, their match was filmed. Perkins and Gargano were filmed before TakeOver Brooklyn. But they played up the fact that Gargano had knee troubles due to the revival. So, based on that fact alone, they played up the story of Gargano's knee weeks before they actually went into that tag team title match against the revival. If you guys did not notice that, I'm bringing it to your attention right now, because they made mention of it tonight on NXT, and they made mention of it last week. I wasn't here to talk about it with you guys because I just didn't feel up to doing a review. It was a very uneventful week last week with NXT being nothing but a highlight show, and, the Cruiserweight Classic was okay. Nothing stood out that made me come on here and want to do a review. They played up the fact that Gargano's knee was injured, and this match was taped weeks before the revival match at Brooklyn. Obviously that was live in New York City. So, I just find that to be a little bit bizarre that they had this entire thing planned weeks in advance with the revival and Gargano and Ciampa. They had everything planned in the story they wanted to tell planned in advance. I like that, man. I like that. I don't like the fact that I have to go into a match that I know is taped, and they're playing on the fact that his knee is injured, but at least they covered their tracks. At least they made sense of everything. And they had a story to be told. So I can appreciate that, but I do find it a little bit odd that they did things backwards in that situation. Tommaso Ciampa is interviewed backstage, says Gargano will be back soon. Revival comes in and literally beats him into the arena. Pretty much all over the arena. On the announce desk, which Phillips and Graves are standing on. You've seen a little smirk on Graves' face as they were fighting all over the place. He even says, I don't like when people come over here and start brawling on our announce desk, but being that it's the Revival and they're taking care of business, have at it, boys. Typical heel Corey Graves, man, fantastic. They literally beat him in the middle of the ring until the referees, who did literally nothing to stop this, they were just waving their arms around like fucking Bailey's tube men. Get in there and get physical, man. Pull these guys off of Ciampa. You're just going to let him get his fucking ass kicked. I don't understand it. So the referee was just standing there, two guys on the outside just waving their arms. The guy in the ring just waving his arms. Stop. They eventually stopped, and they kept mentioning, Gargano and Ciampa got reality checks, and this is a dose of reality. I even tweeted LeBar. You know, I'm like, look at this, the Revival taking some Justin LeBar influence with these reality checks, bro. What's going on here? They got that good old-fashioned LeBar influence. But I definitely see these guys having a rematch, and I'm very excited to see that, man. I would love to see Ciampa and Gargano get their revenge and take the titles off the Revival. I think people wanted it in Brooklyn. They didn't do it then. People are going to want it even more now after the beatdown that we've seen tonight on NXT, and it's going to slowly rebuild itself back up. And when it does happen, it's going to be a fantastic moment for both Ciampa and Gargano. They were also on the promo for Monday Night Raw's Cruiserweight division. I don't know if they're going to be doing double duty, but listen, the Cruiserweight division with Gargano and Ciampa in it, listen, I'm not going to fucking bitch and moan, man. I think that's fucking great. These guys deserve all the recognition and all the opportunity in the world. But if that means they're going to be pulling double duty, great. I don't want to see them on one and then be taken from the other. I think they are most needed right now in NXT. They have a long way to go, man. They could always be put in the Cruiserweight division. Where they are needed now is that tag team division, and I want to see them take the belts off of the Revival. It's coming, and tonight really solidified that, and I can't wait to see what happens here. Ciampa and Gargano are going to get their revenge sooner or later. Steve Cutler versus Kenneth Crawford. This is the first time I've seen these two. Steve Cutler beat Kenneth Crawford with a fisherman driver at 3 minutes and 38 seconds. I guess this was nothing but a showcase of some more talent that NXT is trying to develop in the midst of a mass exodus with the WWE Draft. Hideo Itami says he kicked Austin Aries in the head at TakeOver, but Aries disappointed him by claiming an injury, a busted eardrum. If he doesn't want to feel pain, get out of the ring, says Itami. They kept showing video packages about Nakamura through his ascension in NXT. First with Sami Zayn, then Finn Balor, and then obviously with the win over Samoa Joe at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. No Way Jose versus Angelo Dawkins. This match ended in 2 minutes and 43 seconds. Full Nelson Slam by No Way Jose. Nothing special here. The only thing of interest that I will say is Angelo Dawkins reminds me a lot of fucking D'Lo Brown. I don't know, man. I don't know if it's the fucking arrogance and the cockiness or the build of his fucking physique. I don't know, man. I look at Angelo Dawkins and I see D'Lo Brown. Call me a goon, but that's what I see, man. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Liv Morgan versus Aaliyah. 3 minutes and 21 seconds. Liv Morgan wins. I like Aaliyah a lot, man. I'm still warming up to Liv Morgan. I don't see what the appeal is there. She's just super tiny, and she's not going to make anything believable. She's got a long way to go, man. You can still see she's obviously green. Aaliyah is a little bit more along than Liv Morgan. If Aaliyah is given opportunities, I will say this. She has the opportunity to be a huge asset to that women's division, man. I like what I'm seeing from Aaliyah. If you guys don't remember who she is, she was actually on Breaking Ground. She was that one diva that tried to get on these shows, and they just kept denying her because she didn't have character development. She sat down with William Regal to try and come up with a character and a gimmick for herself. Obviously, she found something. Obviously, she's been training. And where's Eva Marie, man? Seriously. Eva Marie should be just as good as Aaliyah. Maybe Aaliyah should be training Eva Marie because you compare the two side by side and they've been in the same developmental. They both train at the Performance Center. Why is Aaliyah so far along than Eva Marie? It's one of these things I have always wondered, man. Please, if someone can let me know, sound off in the comments. But Aaliyah, if given the opportunity, she has the opportunity to be a huge asset to the women's division of NXT, and I like what I see so far. No Way Jose, after the match that he had with Angelo Dawkins, says that he's fired up about his win and says that he has the heart to go out there and he's got the hair to go along with it. Bobby Roode comes up, Mr. Glorious himself, compliments Joe's head and walks away. I don't know, some of you guys actually teased maybe a Bobby Roode, Austin Aries pairing against Andrade Cien Almas and No Way Jose. I don't know, man. That might be interesting. We'll see what happens. Maybe we'll see the team of Austin Aries and Bobby Roode once again from the good old TNA days. Nakamura is in the ring. He cuts a promo. You know, obviously, he does his entrance. He looks like a legit superstar. You guys know this already. Nakamura says that pretty much he came to NXT because he wanted to face the best talent in the world. He came to NXT where he beat Sami Zayn, Finn Balor, and Samoa Joe. He's still in a lot of pain, but he became the NXT champion. The Joe era is over, he says, and it's now the era of strong style. Nakamura kind of barks in the microphone, yelps. I don't know what the fuck he did, but he poses, and that's the end of the show. That's it. Nakamura came off okay here. You know, it's still a little tough to distinguish what he's trying to say, but you know what he's trying to say. not the greatest on the microphone. I'm surprised they gave him all the time he wanted with a microphone, but the crowd ate it up. The crowd loves him. The crowd doesn't give a fuck. He's the NXT champion, so they're obviously going to show him and shower him with respect. Chance of You Deserve It rang out through all the Full Sail University Arena, man, NXT Arena. So, Nakamura, the champion. No storyline development here. Really nothing of importance happened on this show. I haven't read the spoilers yet, so I don't know what's happening. I don't think I'm going to read the spoilers at all, but, you know, it was one of those shows where it's just good old-fashioned wrestling and no storyline development, man. We got the tease with the Revival and Gargano and Ciampa, but other than that, no Joe, no nothing else, no Asuka, no Ember Moon, nothing. So it was just a lot of guys that WWE wants to bring up to speed, like a Liv Morgan and a Leah and a Steve Cutler, and you got, who else was on the show? Kenneth Crawford, and you got Ty Dillinger and Buddy Murphy. A lot of guys that WWE has down there that they want to get TV time for. So, you know, that's what we're going to start seeing, man. We have to start seeing who's going to come up and step up to the plate and grab the ball and run with it, man. Who's going to be the next breakout star in NXT? That's what I associate with this show. So, pretty uneventful, but all in all, a good night, man, for WWE television, especially with the Cruiserweight Classic. If you enjoyed the review, let me know what you think down below in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, hit that thumbs up. Make sure you guys check out literally everything I did this week down in the description below. And I will be back with you guys on Friday for Off the Script, man. Thank you guys so much. Until then, take care. And I'll see you all for Friday for Off the Script. Talk to you later.